2, 3.
London is our hometown, yet we've never been to Pride in London together. Why? Largely because we haven't felt that London Pride represents us.
It's kind of living up to the expectations of we're not really welcome there.
In this episode, and for the first time as a married couple, we're heading to Pride in London for our global Pride Around the World tour.
We just saw Naomi and she looked at me and she was like, wow, you're really pretty. And I was like, so are you.
By the end of this episode, we'll know whether we made the right decision to skip Madrid Pride in favor of Pride in our hometown.
And she's like, can we be friends? And I was like, oh my God, of course.
How do you spell Delulu again? Oh yeah, delusional.
We'll find out if Pride in London is as diverse as the city it represents.
And we have... I'm gonna scream. Okay, so I'm gonna have some of that later.
Tune in to find out.
It almost reminds me of Notting Hill Carnival in a weird way.
But not as many people in the closet. Like an out Notting Hill.
Let's just leave it. Thank you, bye.
Welcome to Pride in London.
So Pride in London has once again shown us exactly why we need a UK Black Pride. Joining you from the post-production editing room, typically we would record and edit our videos and post them straight onto YouTube, but we felt that there was some important context that we wanted to address head on.
In the last week, we've received news that Christopher Joel De Shields, the Chief Executive Officer for Pride in London, has been suspended due to financial misconduct allegations. Now, the detractors who have put these allegations forward have gone around it in a way that they're trying to oust him, whereas his advocates have come around and said that this is just a ploy, that these allegations are untrue. Now, for us, we're not in a position where we can say if this is true or false, but we are also going to speak on the character and our experience of working with Chris.
So let's start with Chris. From the very first meeting, it was clear that this is someone that we really wanted to build a relationship with and who clearly wanted to build a relationship with us and learn more about the work that we do. Because of Chris, we attended Pride in London for the first time as a married couple. Despite this being our hometown, you would have thought that we would have been before. He created access and opportunities for us. Because of Chris, we were able to interview Edward Enninful, Naomi Campbell, Vanessa Williams. And as Black creators, we really felt like there was a space for us and it gave us a sense of optimism about the future of Pride in London under his leadership.
Now, on the other hand, it was quite clear with our interactions with the Pride in London team that there was no seat at the table for us. It was quite clear that they were willing to make us jump through hoops to get access to things that were already pre-agreed by Chris and his EA Marvin. So we would go to them and show them emails and say, okay, this is the conversation we've had with Chris, this is the conversation we've had with Marvin. We're meant to get media passes so that we can access the front of the parade or access to speak to guests, to interview them for the vlog. This was not being paid. We were not being paid for any of this. All we had requested was access. And on multiple occasions, we had no, speak to this person, speak to the other person. It felt very much like you should not be in this room right now. And we're almost being pushed out.
And above all else, Pride in London is an organisation that has a history of controversy, especially as it relates to excluding the voices of marginalised LGBTQ+ identities, including silencing Black and brown folk. Now, it's worth also noting that Chris was appointed as CEO, the first Black CEO and member of the board, in response to the criticism that the organisation had faced from folks who worked within the organisation, whether that be senior leaders who are from marginalised backgrounds or their community board, who all either quit or resigned in protest of the treatment that they'd experienced at the hands of the organization.
Now, we did not want to lean into this narrative for the vlog because, number one, due to our experience with Chris, we had such a positive outlook on Pride in London. And then also we had optimism for the future because we believe Chris was still going to be there and was still going to be making the impact. Like Duran Bernard performed, Shaka Khan performed. There was so much that felt like, okay, even a whole stage was dedicated to marginalized Black and brown voices. So we felt like the future of Pride in London was bright. But then all of this has now changed. All of this is tarnished because the root of the problem is still very much alive. So what we are asking for you to do is support Chris in any way you can, advocate for him, share your experiences that you've had in Pride in London this year if you attended, share your experiences of the Golden Square. All of this will make sense when you watch the vlog. But if you have attended Pride in London in any way, the people behind it, Chris and Marvin, the advocates that have created a space for us to be there, support them in any way you can.
Also, I think more broadly, it's important for us to acknowledge the role of marginalized leaders, specifically Black and brown leaders in primarily white institutions. They're doing incredible work. Some of them are doing incredible work.
Very valid. Some of
them are doing incredible work, but despite that, it's a very difficult job to do. And I think, especially now more than ever, we need to show our support for these leaders who are working from within the system. But I think outside of that as well, if they're not willing to give you a seat at the table, you need to build your own, and that's unfortunately the reality that we're in. Now, with that out of the way, let us get into the Pride in London vlog.
For those who may not know us, I'm T.
And I'm Drew, and welcome back to Pride Around the World, our global docu-series where we take you on a journey of queer joy, resilience, and community told through our lens as a married couple.
That's right. Over the next 18 months, we'll be traveling to 6 different continents, from the biggest Pride parades to the most underground grassroots celebrations, to explore what does Pride really mean for LGBTQ plus communities.
Yes, but before we get into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share. And if you want to follow the journey in real time, check out our Instagram, TikTok, and if you want that raw, unfiltered bits of Pride Around the World, check out our Snapchat.
And today is a very special day because we are in our hometown, London.
And we're in a new studio.
Well,
get into the gear, get into the upgrade.
We're in our hometown, London, for London Pride, and we're going to get into it for today's episode. But come to find out, London Pride wasn't actually on our Pride Around the World tour. This came unexpectedly. But before we get into that, let's start by explaining what is London Pride.
So Pride in London is the UK's biggest Pride event in the most diverse city in the world. Started back in 1972 by the Gay Liberation Front, it's grown from a few thousand marching through central London to over 1.5 million attendees. The parade, which takes place in July or August, is free and relies largely on the invaluable contributions of volunteers every single year.
At its core, Pride in London is not just a parade, it's about visibility, equality, and advocacy, making sure that everyone within the LGBTQ plus community feels seen, supported, and heard. Now, despite this, it hasn't come without its controversies, mainly that it lacks the space to cater to every single diverse community within Pride itself, and in some cases, people not really feeling included.
Would you say that Pride in London represents your community or your identity or your values?
No.
Okay.
There's work to be done.
Right.
I'm like, not in the way that I feel like it could.
Right.
I feel like this Pride on this day is more kind of commercial Pride.
Yeah.
It's not Pride. I feel like the Pride that represents all of us is Black Pride, personally. That's the day where I just know that without question, without fail, it's going to be a vibe. Today it's like, we go because it's London and we're part of the community, so let's just be there, present, and surround ourselves with people who are like-minded. But I don't feel like the actual organisation as a whole and the scenes that were around actually truly embody that personally.
They're getting there.
Yeah.
20 years ago, it wasn't as diverse as what it is now, but I feel like there's still a lot more that we could do to make it more like multicultural. Like, there's a lot of like cultures in London, and I feel like there's a lot more that we could do, but we're taking baby steps.
Yeah.
We got UK Black Pride, but I feel like something like London Pride should have a big black and brown representation. We got this today, which is great, but I want it bigger.
Yeah.
Why are we not in Trafalgar Square?
I know. We always want a bigger child. Now, this sentiment is not too similar for the reasons why we have traditionally skipped Pride in London, because we've never really felt seen at Pride in London. And I think it's hard to feel pride in a space where you don't feel seen, you know? So every year we'd opt out of Pride in London and instead we'd go shake me ass at UK Black Pride. Now, UK Black Pride was co-founded by Lady Phil, and it was created in direct response to the underrepresentation of many Black LGBTQ plus folks who didn't feel seen or supported by mainstream Pride events. Now, this isn't the UK Black Pride vlog, but I think it's worth noting.
As we mentioned, Pride in London wasn't on our plan originally. We're meant to go to the largest Pride in Europe, which would have been Madrid Pride. However, during our trip to DC, we got unexpectedly introduced to the CEO CEO of Pride in London, which was Chris Joel de Shields, at a human rights conference.
And we were like, wait a damn minute, we did not know that the CEO of Pride in London was black. And for us, that really did change everything. And through Chris, we got to meet Marvin, Pride in London's head of special projects, and we got on so well. We really felt like we developed the relationship, and through that we got invited to Pride in London's fundraising gala. And for us, we knew our plans had to change.
But that was not the only reason though, guys. We had to cancel our Madrid because DC was expensive. And this whole Pride Around the World tour, it's funded by us. So where we can save money and still get a good Pride experience, we chose that. So yeah, we stayed at home. So what did our Pride in London experience look like? It all started 2 weeks before the parade with a fundraising gala. Now, this was a special evening designed to raise money for Pride in London to make sure it remains free for the community, but also the proceeds went to the local initiatives that were in support of LGBTQIA+ voices. Now, this evening was hilarious because the Drag Race host Tiara Sky from South Africa, hilarious. You never knew what she was going to say at any given point of the night.
So give it up for the one and only Christopher Joel de Shields. Yes. See you in the bathroom. Everybody, I'm the lead singer, mama. I'll take that as strike one. Happy Pride to you.
But also, there were different performances from the West End. And The Greatest Showman, my favorite West End show, they performed. We loved it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No shade to the fundraising gala, it was fab, but The Greatest Showman, I've just never seen it before.
And yeah, we will not be doing that on this, right? But the best part of the evening was the fact that we got to connect with the Pride in London team ahead of the parade.
Yeah, things were really looking up. Like the fundraiser really raised our anticipation for the Pride Parade itself. But then things took a turn. So as is customary with all of our Pride Around the World videos, we got in touch with the Pride in London team just to share a little bit about the project and what we hope to do in partnership with them. No response. And this was many weeks before the event itself. Now, the day before the Pride in London parade, we receive a call from the Pride in London team and they come through with an incredible offer. Media access, access to the VIP area, marching at the front of the parade with the Mayor of London, interviews with special guests, as well as with the CEO of Pride in London itself, on one condition. We had to be at the meeting point by 11 a.m. sharp. Now, you know me, I'm not a morning person at all, but of course with an offer that good, I had to be there. It's the morning of Pride in London and we are about to head out. This is my first Pride in London since 2017, where I got piked.
Oh, was that the day you called?
That was the time I got piked, chow.
Well, actually, we're going to do a story time on that. It's just because it was so funny.
It was so funny. It's kind of dramatic looking back at it. But yeah, this is my first Pride since then and our first Pride together.
Yeah, and this is my first Pride in London ever, to be honest. I'm really excited for Pride because I think one thing is the street parties. I've seen like so many pop-ups that people are saying is going to be on the parade. I want to see the performances. Like, we've been to DC and we know they come alive for Pride. So I want to see what London is giving.
Yeah, London's got a high bar that it's competing with, chow, because we're going around the world. But I know my city. I know we're going to come through. I know we're going to come through from the looks to the people, to the music, to the vibes. London has it all. It's the most diverse city in the world, so they say.
But with that, let's head to Pride and have a good time. See you guys there, guys.
So we were there from 10:45, I would say. 10:45 with a meeting point sharp. And let's just say once we arrived, pure pandemonium.
Yeah, it's all kicking off. Pride in London. We're just trying to find our way to the registration office. Looks like it's here. Let's try here. So we've just walked in to one of the rooms and it's huge. Like everything is happening here. They are prepping, they are getting things ready for the parade. The merch is out. Like this is where it all starts. Honestly, this is where it all starts.
Once we arrived, it was very clear that there was lack of communication between the people actually working at the front desk to hand out passes and our point of contact. Now, we came to collect our media pass, but they were not aware of any of it.
We've kind of realized that everything is a bit rushed. Like we don't have our media passes. We are trying to be at the front of the parade. We haven't done any interviews. So it seems like everything has flipped on its head.
Yeah.
But we're trying to still see how the day goes. We're staying positive.
Yeah. So I am stressed. We've lost our point of contact for Pride in London. And now we're just stumbling around.
No media passes.
No interview with Naomi Campbell or Vanessa Williams.
Girl. Still hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Not off to a great start still.
Our point of contact had disappeared. There was no access for us, like pretty much to the parade or to any of the spaces.
So it's 15 minutes till the parade is supposed to start. We have no media passes.
We don't know where the front of the parade is.
We don't know where the front of the parade is. This isn't the best experience, especially when you're invited.
And especially,
it's not the best experience.
We already had our reservations for London Pride, and it's kind of living up to the expectations of like, we're not really welcome here. This is not for us, if you get what I mean.
And when we were trying to get to the front of the parade, as we were promised, the security was like, no, sorry, no access. And I was going back and forth, I'm not gonna lie, because in my head, I've pictured myself at the front of the parade having the best experience. And just like that, as we're about to give up, you hear this voice saying, let them through. And it was CEO, the Chris of Pride in London. And just like that, we were in, and that began a whole different experience.
So we just got an email saying that they've approved our media passes.
Let's show them what we got.
And we also got the band for the front of the queue. So
yes,
things are looking up.
The Pride in London March goes from Green Park all the way down to Piccadilly Circus and then right the way down to Trafalgar Square, which is where the ending point is. Being at the front of the parade was such an experience because we got to march with some of London's most iconic people, from Mayor Sadiq Khan to Vanessa Williams to the one and only Naomi Campbell.
Oh! It's Andrew here and I'm joined with the one and only Naomi Campbell. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Firstly, just want to say you look amazing.
Thank you.
Why was it important for you to join and show up for Pride, especially this year?
I think it's for me, it's not even I think. It's just a given that in my life, in my career, I mean, this is part of my being.
Yeah.
And so why would I not want to be here and support? I've supported in other countries in the world. So now it's happened to work out that I could be here to support in London, my hometown.
No, we love that. And of course, from your walk to your legacy to your impact, you're seen as a beacon of power and poise, especially amongst Black and brown queer people. What are some of the ways in which the community has influenced you?
Their support, their increasingly rapid way of evolving and changing, they're inspiring to me. And they inspire me on a daily basis, which gives me the energy to keep standing up for us until we are treated in the right way.
I love that. And the last question, what is your hope for your legacy as it relates to your engagement with the community and your relationship with the community?
I know I'm kind of working on that now.
Okay.
One was the exhibition, but there's more to come. I want them to hear my voice from me, and I've never really spoken, to be honest. but they will. We're working on things. I want to be in charge of my narrative.
Obviously, you played such an iconic role, Miranda Priestley in Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
That's a show that resonates deeply with LGBTQ plus communities around the world. What were some of the unique ways your interaction with fans or creatives? How did that shape your performance?
Well, the fans have been spectacular. I've had fans come from all over the world, from China, Taiwan, Yugoslavia. I mean, it's just been incredible. Girls trips from the States. So it's been amazing. I know it's very loud.
Yes.
Try not to blow out my voice because I have 2 shows tonight.
Oh, okay.
Playing Miranda Priestley is a very dynamic role. And when you bring drama and attitude, that's where you'll get amazing iconic status.
Yes, and of course you've lived and worked in New York and now in London. What are some of the unique ways that queer culture plays out in London versus New York, would you say?
I think it's all the same. I mean, I think love is love, and wanting to be included and heard is important globally, especially at this point in our lives when we're getting so much resistance. So I don't see a major difference, but I've been lucky to perform at Hoopla. I'm here walking in the march, which is amazing, and I've had opportunities to be a part of the culture and the community here, which has been amazing.
And last question, you've been so vocal about your support of the LGBT plus community. More recently, I can think about the open letter that you penned in 2023. What are some of your hopes for LGBTQ plus liberation and expression in 2025, but also beyond?
The hopes are do not be discouraged. With every battle and obstacle, there's always resistance, there's always judgment. Whether you're gay, whether you're minority, you're going to face constant struggles in life, but know who you are. Know that there's always your tribe, and you know that you'll find it eventually.
Crossing the finish line in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was a chaotic start. But when it clicked, one of the best Pride parades I've ever been to. The energy, interviewing Naomi on the streets, Fab, Edward on the street.
Now, you may be wondering, where is the footage of your interview with Edward? Tosin, would you like to answer?
Let's just say, sometimes in life, technical difficulties happen. But Edward, if you ever see this, we would love to interview you, because honestly, listening back to the audio, we have the audio, but we don't have the video. Listen back to the
partial audio, not all the audio. That got corrupted too, but yeah.
Wow. Any more? Are you okay now?
No, that's it.
Okay. Edward, if you're ever watching this, we would love to interview you, because you're an inspiration, and the answers you gave resonated with a lot of the things we believe into. So
yes, the answers live rent-free in my mind, but they do not live on this YouTube channel, unfortunately.
Wow.
We're still going to find Edward. Mark this post. We're going to find Edward before the end of this. And we're going to run that interview, and we're going to do a lot better job.
Yeah. Alright, bye.
Off to the next one.
After the parade, it was time to explore the Pride in London stages. Now, Pride in London has 6 separate stages which cater to different community interests and audiences. There's the Trafalgar Square stage, the LGBTQIA plus women's stage, Golden Square stage, Soho Square stage, Dean Street stage, and family area. But first, we had to make a pit stop to the Diageo's Pride event.
Our Diageo family love you guys.
Just got out from a Diageo event in Soho.
Yes.
I had a little drink, so I'm a little buzzed.
It is DJ One Cocktail. Get it together, bro. And we're currently in Soho, and we're gonna find the Soho Square street party and do some interviews. Let's get to work.
For those of you who don't know, who aren't from London, Soho is like a queer cultural capital. Like the girls, gays and nays, we always gather here. Not so much us, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, because it's getting very expensive, or it has been very expensive for a while.
Yeah.
And it's literally in the heart of central London.
Yeah.
But traditionally, there's a lot of queer history here. So it makes sense that Pride congregates here in this way. But we're going to show you what it looks like. All right, bye.
We just left Soho Square, where it was the
a non-binary stage.
Trans and non-binary stage, which was really cool. I think one thing I love is where you see allyship more so than anything else. It's like you can see people are here, like, and the chants. It's very alive. What do you think?
Yeah, I really loved it. It's very different from the Soho Square that I remember when I was coming in 2018. Like, you've got a stage now, it's barricaded off, it's like there's a queuing system, there are booths for you to get food. It's changed a lot.
The toilets were clean.
Yes, it's changed a lot, but I think that just reflects the growth of Pride, and I just love the fact that they had a specific stage for trans and non-binary talent, but also elevating topics around that.
And now we're on our way to the Golden Square, where we're not sure.
I don't know where it is. I don't know where it's from. The lineup looks fab, so we're about to go and find out.
Fingers crossed we have a good time. But we're here to work. We're here to work.
Moving out of Soho Square, we headed to Golden Square, where we found our people. Yes, guys, there was a square dedicated to the Black and POC community. It was entirely created by a Black queer man, Nathan Devonte. One of the highlights of this stage was the fact that DJ Mac Ashley Dupont said, honestly, once he got on deck, everybody came out like it's time to dance. And he's one of the best queer London-based DJs and also the founder of Jungle Kitty.
And I am joined with
Mark Ashley Dupay.
Yeah. What are your pronouns before we get into
He, him.
Okay, and what do you do?
I'm a DJ and events creator.
Okay, fab. And how long have you been doing that for?
A long time. Like 18, 19 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm deep in the game now.
Okay. When did you realize that this was the thing that you wanted to focus on?
Do you know what? When I was younger, I used to go out a lot and I kept spending a lot of money. And I was like, do you know what? I want to bring home money. So I flipped the game. So I decided, you know, I'm gonna start hosting. From hosting, I started creating events. And then from creating events, I started DJing. And now we're here. 18 years later.
Wow. Like, obviously, we've experienced your DJ sets. What are some of the things you want your audience to think, feel, and do when they come to when they experience your sets or experience your event?
I want people to have a good time. There's a lot of DJs sometimes that don't pay for the crowd. I don't pay for the crowd, so I watch the crowd, see what they're vibing on, and give them something to just brought their back to.
Right.
Woo! We finally found our community at Pride.
The Golden Square is where it's at. The DJ, Mark.
You did that. The girls were having fun.
Nyash was being shaken. Asses were being twerked. Knees were being dislocated. Ankles were being shifted. I mean, sure. People were having a good time.
10-10.
Yeah.
No notes.
We want to stay there for longer, but a job to do.
We're finally going to the main stage, which we haven't been at all day.
Yeah.
Hopefully it carries, because Mac, you did that. So let's go main stage and let's see what's up.
We went to Trafalgar Square, which was now the main stage, and we saw performances from Duran Bernard and the one, the only, Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan.
Dance on the beat. I don't wanna excuses. You keep me feeling so clueless. I'd like to dream. Keep on dreaming about us, babe. Hey.
The sky's a limit, so baby don't go away. I need to get to you before the end of the day. I'm on a love deadline. I need to make it before I lose you. I'm on a love deadline.
And when she sang I'm Every Woman, it was so beautiful seeing the diversity with all the women that came out on stage. The only people that were missing was us, because in that moment we should have been there, because we are every woman too. But we love you, Shakal. We do.
So let's talk about nightlife for Black queer folks here in London. For many of us, the club is more than just a party. It's a space where we discover community in mass. Many of us for the first time. So in London, a lot of Black queer nightlife isn't anchored to spaces that are owned by us, but rather to collective-driven events. So just to give you an example, you've got Jungle Kitty, Pussy Palace to the left. These are community-driven nights that are put on to cater to the taste of LGBTQ+ folks of color.
For Pride in London's after party, we decided to attend the Bootylicious and Fluids collaboration. Now, Bootylicious is a Black queer night that has been running, I think, one of the longest queer nights that has been running in London, with a focus on a plethora of genres, from bashment to dancehall, to amapiano, back to dancehall, to R&B, back to dancehall, to hip-hop, and finally dancehall. Now, they partner with Fluid, which is a relatively new inclusive event for folks of color.
So, now you've been to Booty and you've been to Fluid. What was your first experience at a Booty like? Because I feel like everyone has a story about their first experience to Booty.
Oh my God, because I have bad memory, honestly, I don't remember what my first experience was like. But I think one thing I would say is it was the space where I felt like there were people like me. Because Heaven, like we used to go to Heaven, and Heaven—
Oh, you went to Heaven before Booty?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
I went to Heaven before Booty, and I feel like Heaven was that, but it wasn't really anchored in that, if that makes sense. You had a section for us, but the whole environment wasn't for us. Whereas Bootylicious, the whole environment was for us. And Bootylicious is where you would feel like you wanted to bring your sexiest self, because you know the boys were watching, and you had to put on a show, and you had to pull up to boys. So it was just like a whole experience. What about you?
I think for me, what I remember the most vividly was I went with one of my friends who I met through an app, and I remember pulling up to the queue, and I remember whispering to him, hey, you told me that we were going to a gay club. Like, I was looking at the queue, I had never seen this many Black queer people in my entire life, you know? And the way that they were like presenting themselves in the queue, I was like, are these guys gay or what? Like, I was so confused. And then when we got into the club, that's when the gay came out. Like, people were throwing arse, dancing together, kissing. I was just so taken aback. And that was, I think, my most vivid memory from my first time going to Booty. And I just remember sweating, going in my business casual. You'd have the guys who would stand on there. The guys who would stand on the side of the wall. And I would always be like, why are they just standing on the wall? Why aren't they dancing? And I just remember, fucking it up with my friends.
Now, how does that contrast to what we experienced recently?
I think what I've loved about Booty's collaboration with Fluid was it didn't feel like such a masculine space. First, when I used to go to Bootylicious, I feel like when I used to go to Bootylicious, it was like the majority of folks were either masked or trying to present mask, and then you would have the very femme girls. But I feel like when we went to Fluid, it really is fluid in every sense. Like, you see much more of a spectrum of expression. And also I think it was good to see like the younger generation coming up. Like, I feel like we were one of the oldest people in the club.
I can't believe you're saying that.
Yeah, so it was good to just see that the younger girls have a space for them, you know?
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think that was something that before Pussy Palace and before those nights, like Bootylicious wasn't necessarily the place for the femme girls like that. And now coming here, it's like even being masked, we're the minority in that space. And I love that feeling because being mask presenting, sometimes I just want to go to a place and just feel like, hey, I can do the most and just feel like nobody's watching you because nobody cares. And it was very much that.
Yeah.
Unlike the other nights, which if we attended, we know that we would have had to mask it up for the bros, and I don't really care for that anymore. I'm old. I like to party like the fab girl I am.
Now, we can't talk about Pride in London without talking about the state of trans rights in the UK, specifically at the moment. So for those of you who don't know, in April of 2025, a Supreme Court ruling redefined the definition of man and woman to mean biological sex assigned at birth, which as a result has excluded trans folk from the legal protections that come under the Equality Act. The Equality and Human Rights Commission followed this guidance, recommending that trans folks be barred from gendered spaces like public toilets, for example, aligned with their identity. It's a legal and a moral crisis. Now, within that context, how did Pride in London respond?
One thing I will give to Pride in London is that they were very clear with the messaging. Trans rights is human rights, and trans rights were the front and center of the whole London Pride itself, starting from the fundraiser gala, where they shed a light on the new campaign initiative of Trans is Human. Now, this was focused on centering trans visibility and dignity. Secondly, during the parade itself, the Soho Square was specifically set up to elevate trans and non-binary voices. This is from the acts to the performances. And finally, Pride in London showcased their support for trans voices through platforming and uplifting charities like Not a Phase, which is a charity based in UK that is focused on trans lives.
Yes, and speaking of which, we're invited to attend the Pink Noise and Not a Phase annual brunch to raise money for trans issues, which we're invited by TikTok, and it was such a vibe.
But you haven't seen anything yet. Now you're just beginning your trip to regrets. You might think you know me, but soon you forget. I'm too insane, and you know it. You got to learn to like me again and again, 'cause I will make you love me again and again. Just when you think you love me, you'll think again, 'cause I will make you hate me again and again.
From the brands that showed up, to the raffle tickets, to the energy of the people that were just really here to have hard conversations and really drive forward change, it was a reminder that allyship really isn't passive, it's active, and it's in the actions versus the words.
Now I'm joined with
Henry Holland.
Great to meet you, Henry Holland.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes. So what was the plan with today's event? Like, what do you hope guests will walk away with, and what was the goals for the event?
So this event has been going on for 5-6 years now, and this has been, I think, our 5th IRL event. And we always just want to raise funds for the most in-need kind of fundraising efforts that are going on at the time within the LGBTQIA plus community. And what I really love about Pink Noise is that they triage funds, and so they're raising funds for the most in-need people and the most in-need charities that need it at that moment. And so they're working really closely with Not a Phase, and they're working really closely with Danny St. James, and we were just so grateful to be able to raise funds for them and to support their work. And yeah, it's really good fun, but I'm always the one running around the event being like, we need to raise more money, we need to raise more money.
Right.
And the one like drilling into people that we're a fundraising event, whereas everyone else is just having a great time.
How do you hit that balance? What do you think is important when putting together a fundraiser that still kind of brings the joy that you want guests to feel, but while still centering the purpose of why we're here?
So it's really hard without making people feel guilty. So many fundraising events are like, everything's shit, the world is shit, everyone's being murdered, everyone's being killed. It's really difficult to find that balance when really, you know, what Not a Phase is new kind of manifesto is like, it's all about the joy, like finding the joy in the community. And so I think the way that we do it really is just like putting on joyful events, raising funds, but really just reminding people as to why we're here, why pride is still important.
Yeah.
You know, I think for so many gay people, pride has become a dirty word. And for me personally, pride was an embarrassment for a long time. I was like, I'm not proud about what happens at Pride. And then I really started to think about what pride meant and why we do it and why it's so pivotal for our community and why it's so important. And that's when I started to get involved and be like, let's put on an event that I'm really proud to attend and love to do, and at the same time raise really important funds for the community that need it.
So, what did we learn after our first Pride in London experience?
I think the first thing is Pride in London has listened to the criticisms, and although there's still work to be done, it acknowledges the fact that there is still work to be done, and it continues to make strides in the right areas in order to improve the overall experience for everyone who is a part of the community and beyond. We've seen what's possible under the right leadership. Chris and Marvin made a huge difference to our plans around Pride around the world. Adequate funding, but also the important, invaluable support of volunteers who show up throughout the year to support Pride in London.
Oh, and we cannot forget about the importance of allyship, active allyship, whether it's through raising money, whether it's through uplifting the voices of issues that affect the LGBTQ+ communities, or even just showing up at Pride.
I am here with the fabulous
Juliet.
Leroy. No, we just had to stop these two because you two are just oozing essence.
Oh.
Is this your first Pride in London?
I come every year.
We try to come every year, unless we're traveling.
Yeah.
What draws you to Pride every year?
We like a party.
We love to party. Not only that, actually, like the fact that we celebrate Pride.
Right.
Yeah, I
Because
love the Pride.
we got a community of gay guys and girls, and we're Londoners. I'm a born and raised Londoner.
I'm in London.
I'm Ugandan
No,
too.
shut the front door.
I was thinking it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where you
So I like to celebrate this for the Ugandans who are not allowed to celebrate.
Yeah.
So
we defy those odds. We defy it. I'm Jamaican heritage, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Over the years, there's always been preconceptions that Jamaicans can't do gay, and I want to defy that. We have to be proud of who we are, because as a black minority in London, we are persecuted as well. And Pride is about who you are, not necessarily about your sexuality. So that's what I celebrate.
Well good, Leroy.
The thing I loved about the marches, it was the fact that when you were walking through the parade, you could see so many people just standing on the side, just cheering on. For all I know, they could have been queer. For all I know, they might have been allies, but it was beautiful to see. And honestly, it goes a long way. And you get to appreciate how far I am at a parade. Like, it was a moment. Now, Pride in London is also best experience with your community. There is something there for everyone.
Let me just have a minute. This beautiful group of well moisturized, hydrated individuals. Like what? All right, what are some of the most memorable moments you've had from Pride in London? Like, what makes this special to you?
The people that you're with on the day.
Okay.
Very much so, because that makes it the vibe that you're actually there for. Like, you surround yourself with like-minded individuals and you're going to have a good day.
What advice would you give to people in London who are trying to find their chosen family or their community?
Instagram is your best friend. Right.
Yeah.
Social media is your best friend. Like, I'm from Bournemouth, so Instagram is amazing. Like, just connecting with different people, like you'll have mutuals with somebody, and then just kind of building a friendship from that, and you'll find your people eventually.
Seek out people that look like you, for starters, and just start like networking, vibing, create your own little family of people. And you need to like, there's certain parties that you need to be to, I'm going to. So it's like Jungle Kitty, Connection Party, to the left. And like search out certain people, and you'll find your community.
You have to take time to walk around and find those spaces. For example, the Golden Square stage, I was not aware of that. But once I got there, we had a fab time.
Yes, and Pride in London, let's not forget, Pride in London is a protest, especially when we're seeing cutbacks in DEI investments and also we're seeing rollbacks on rights that we fought so hard for. It's really important for us to remember the essence of Pride as a protest. But amongst all of those things, there's still joy to be found. I'm joined with
Gina
and Beck.
And how do you both know each other? I think let's start there.
We are married. This is my wife. We've been together nearly 10 years, married nearly 2.
Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah.
And what are your first impressions of Pride in London?
I think it's great. Yeah, we're having a great time.
We met up with friends who we know from Hong Kong, so it was a nice reunion.
A reunion of people, yeah.
This is cool. We like this square. It feels quite comfortable to be in a little bit more of an intimate setting.
Yeah, we like that.
As opposed to being out in the crowd.
And in Hong Kong, Pride is more of a protest, so it doesn't have the same fun vibes.
Yeah.
So I'm having a great time.
Yeah. Do you feel represented when you are in Pride in London?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's so many different types of people that are here and everyone's so out and open. So I feel like, how can you not?
Especially because our main comparison is Hong Kong. So
yeah, where there's maybe not that much representation.
We walk down the street during the Pride, there's not even any music allowed.
Yeah.
And there's people who are protesting
against Pride.
Yeah,
So
it's very, very
different. It's a different
we
experience.
actually go to Taipei for Pride celebration.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
Okay, so what are our hopes for Pride in London as we look to World Pride in 2030?
I think first and most importantly, I hope we win the bid, because having experienced London Pride and also experienced World Pride in DC, I think and I believe we can do a fantastic job at it.
What are some of the special attributes of London that you think make it such a perfect candidate to host a celebration as large as World Pride?
I think it's our diversity. It's the difference that we have in us as a community. So whether or not it's beyond the LGBTQ plus community, I think our diversity just speaks volumes when we look at what we are around the world. Now, there is some work to do for us as an LGBT community and bringing us back up to that beacon of, where everyone's looking at us. But I think, there are many years ahead of us in terms of planning and really creating that atmosphere, creating that, create continued visibility, that representation, and making sure that our journey to 2030, all of the community, all Londoners feel belong, and they know that come 2030, it will be a celebration for them on that particular day for World Pride if we're successful in the mission.
We have the diversity, we have the talent, and we have the leadership, because leadership is very important. The continued leadership and advocacy for those opening doors to bring people like us into the room, so important, because if it wasn't for Chris or Marvin, we wouldn't have had the access, we wouldn't even have had the Pride experience that we did. So for our first London Pride experience, advocacy, leadership, hats off to them for creating the space for us.
What are your hopes for Pride going forward? Like, how do you hope to see it continue?
Continues every year.
And my hope is if we could all celebrate it together, like black, white, everyone, just one Pride.
Yeah.
Instead of having two, we should just get together and just have one, and that's it. And I think that's great.
This is a good beginning. Golden Square is the first time I've seen a place where they actually have a black culture within the gay pride.
In 2025, I feel like somewhere, especially like central London, there's not enough black and brown representation. I feel like in Soho, there should be a club that we can all go to as black and brown people and get down to. That's not just heaven. Like, give us options. So my ideal is that in the next 5 to 10 years, you can come into Soho, you can go to like an R&B hip hop club that is totally 100% queer, and we can shake booty.
I know, that's right. And I think we want Pride in London to continue to accelerate its focus on those of us who are most historically marginalized, whether that be trans folk, black and brown queer folk, disabled LGBTQ plus folk, bi, asexual, like really focused on those of us who are most marginalized. And I think focus on uplifting the creatives, the entrepreneurs, the charities, the activists, those who are doing the work, really spotlight and use Pride in London as a platform for those folk.
At the moment, the trans community really needs us. As a wider community, as the LGBTQIA plus community, it's actually the trans brothers and sisters that really need us right now. And I think when you think about the origins of Pride and, you know, the marchers and the people that threw the first bricks up Stonewall and the reason why we're here in the first place. It's like, okay, now we've come full circle and now the trans brothers and sisters really need us.
Yeah.
There's been like 20 plus years where we've all just been like having a party and wearing rainbows and, you know, like gay people have their rights. They're not under threat. You know, we have our freedoms. And I think now is the time to really lean in and support our brothers and sisters that really need us at this moment.
And last but definitely not least, we really hope that Pride in London remains free. But to do that, it requires funding and it requires the support of volunteers and also those brands that are cutting out the DEI investments. Ciao, y'all need to come back and y'all need to stay in the room no matter how the pendulum swings.
Very important. Next up though, on our Pride Around the World tour, we are heading to our last spot, Amsterdam. Amsterdam are also going to be holding World Pride 2026. So this will be a good way to, you know, get a little taste of what we should expect for World Pride 2026. Now guys, to keep going and getting access to all the spaces and giving you all the behind the scenes uncut footage, we need you to like, comment and subscribe because when we're sharing the videos to all the people, all the powers that be, it is important for them to see how people engage with our content. So like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, and follow us on Snapchat because that is where you see our regular daily lives, which is always fun to share our journey in real time.
Until next time, folks, we will see you in the next episode of Pride Around the World. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.